I know you guys do the best you can to try to figure out what might be happening ahead of you, but curious how much of a relief it was, especially at 5, that there was clarity that nobody was trading up ahead of you to get, Ashton, or that, the Jacksonville Jaguars actually traded up out of that.
Mm-hmm. We had a sense midday today that there was maybe some action up there. Not quite sure who it was, but we just prepare for all the situations. And listen, if Ashton would have got picked at 5, then we would have been prepared with the next guy to pick, and we would have been super excited about that player too. So, we stacked the board in a way where the top guy comes off the board, and the fact that it was Ashton, we're thrilled about.
Hondo Carpenter with SI. Gentlemen, could you both talk about what it was with Ashton that really stood out to you?
Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of things to talk about, but one of the things, he was hard to tackle. I mean, you guys couldn't get him on the ground. And, I compared him with a lot of players in the past, that skill to make people miss and to bounce off tackles and to use the force of the tacklers. And he had marvelous talent in that regard. And that he reminded me, and I'm not going to share him with you because I don't want to compare, but with a number of players that we've watched over the years and going back quite a ways, I thought he was that unique.
I know you didn't, Sean Patel, Vegas Sports Today. You mentioned you didn't want to mention specific players, but Ashton seemed to kind of embrace the Marshawn Lynch comparisons. Do you find them similar in any ways, and is there differences between their styles of running as well?
I'm glad you brought him up because he'd been calling all evening here about it. He's pretty fired up about it, and there's nobody loves the whole running game more than he does, and the style. The guys that have style is something that's really special to Marshawn. I know. There is similarities in that his ability to make plays when it doesn't look like there's anything there. Marshawn did that, throughout his career, and he found a physical way to, kind of bank off of people and bounce and just keep alive. And Ashton really is a player that shows that kind of style. That's one of the aspects of his style, his burst and all of the other things he does as well, complement. But there's a special makeup in there in Ashton in particular.
Carter Owen with Raiders.com. You guys have talked a lot about bringing the right people into the organization. In addition to being the player that he is, what did you learn about Ashton Jeanty throughout the pre-draft process that gave you the confidence he was the right guy to bring into this organization?
We did a very complete process with him. John organized. We saw him at the combine, and we saw him in the 30 visit here, and so we really had tremendous insights into the person and his goals, his desires, his makeup, his mentality. I thought it was an excellent job. We were very committed, because we had so much information.
Pick from the Athletic. That's a deep class of running backs this year. How did that affect your evaluation of Jeanty? And was there a big gap, or how did that come into play?
It didn't affect our evaluation of Jeanty, the player in particular. I mean, his film stands for itself. The kind of person he was stands for itself. I mean, it's something we obviously considered. I mean, you have to consider it when there is a deep class of running backs, but we just felt like he's that good of a person and that good of a player where it warranted the pick. And there's also no guarantees that if you pass on Ashton there, that any of those guys that you really like in the next rung are going to be there too. So, I mean, we saw the Chargers take Hampton too. I mean, there's another good running back there. So, there's no certainties with it. We just it was all about Ashton for us once he was there.
Levi Edwards with Las Vegas Raiders. Throughout the draft process, you talked about wanting to not just take the position of need, but best player available. With Ashton Jeanty, do you believe that you were able to successfully accomplish both of those things?
I do. It's one of those deals where it meets the need and the best player meet together, and you kind of feel like that's a perfect storm at that point too. And it's just too much to ignore at that point. He's the perfect player for us this year, and we were thrilled to make him a Raider.
I'd like to add that we're really excited about the running game and doing a great job of being committed and to have the opportunity to find such a dynamic player to add to all of that. It was just fit just right.
Bill Review Journal. John, last week you sat here and talked about you don't know where the devaluation of running backs came from and why that started. I guess, where do you think it came from, and why did it not matter to you, or why does it not matter to you?
I don't know where it came from. I was being honest. We just try to evaluate the player for what they are and add great football players. And with as dynamic as Ashton is and the kind of person he is, and that's kind of what we're looking to add around here too. I mean, you got a guy that had almost 2,600 yards rushing last year, 29 touchdowns. He caught 43 balls in 2023 for over 10 yards a catch. He's can line up, he can run routes, he can catch balls, he can pass protect. I mean, I don't know. I mean, running backs score touchdowns. Touchdowns, I think, are pretty important. They make playing defense a lot easier too, I think, right, Coach?
That's the whole idea. Yep.
John, you like grinders. You like both in the building, on the field, but in their personal lives, guys that handle their business. What was it about Ashton off the field that sold you on him as well?
He's got such a unique story. I'm really excited for you guys to meet him. And you can even start when he was a freshman. You know, he comes from a military family, and his dad was stationed, I think he told us, in Naples. And here's this kid that's got this love affair with football, and he's in Naples, Italy, trying to figure out how to play football. And he was like, I went to a high school, and I played football there. You know, and then his dad finished his career in the military, and they got to kind of pick where they wanted to live, and they picked the greater Dallas area because of the quality of football there. And he, as a junior, he's playing behind a guy that's a running back. I think he's at Central Florida now, he told us. So he played slot receiver, and all he ever wanted to do was play football. And he's a physical runner, but he's a dynamic runner. And we just kind of fell in love with his story and his love affair with football.
Zeke Trezor, Van Sports Illustrated. John, obviously a lot has been made about BPA or taking a player for need. At what point does it get where you don't try to overthink things?
Well, we didn't try to overthink this one tonight. I promise you that.
But I would say that if anybody overthought it, we did. We just kept hammering it, you know, and just we mentioned about John being a grinder. We were grinding this one out just to make sure that we got exactly what the information we needed, so that we could feel this convicted, you know, to the deal. And we had, you know, it's been a great process. We've had a blast. We've been on this one for a long time and kind of seeing it early, but we didn't take it for anything for granted in this process at all.
He seems like a guy that can take it to the house anywhere on the field, but also you can ball control with him, short yardage. Is this a complete back?
Yeah, he's like we said. I think the word is dynamic for us. You know, he has the ability to do all of it. He can run with power. He can run in short yardage areas and find the spacing that he needs to make the plays. And he's got that marvelous ability to just on any play he can score. And that's just such an exciting aspect to add to our football team. We just feel very fortunate.
We're gonna go Steve, Hondo, Nick, Paul, and then Vic.
Steve Carp with the Sporting Tribune. Pete, what will be his biggest challenge in adjusting from college to pro football?
Most always for the guys coming out of college is pass protection. That's the biggest issue that guys have, and we've studied every pass pro op he had, and he gets the job done. But he'll get checked out. You know, the teams that we play will try to make him have to pass pro and see if the young guys can do it, because that's just kind of the way we always go about it. And so that'll be an area for him, you know, that we'll emphasize greatly to make sure he's tough as nails. He's powerful. He strikes guys the right way. Technique is good. We'll just try to just make him better in all aspects of that. But I think that's probably the most challenging thing that he'll have to, you know, deal with.
Pete, when you look at your resume, everywhere you've been, you've tremendously picked running backs. Is there one quality that and you've had different styles of running backs, but is there one quality you look for? What is it that has gifted you in identifying running backs?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It's nice. It's the commitment to the running game first, as it affects the overall play of your team. That is what drives me to, you know, have always been focused on the running game and the running backs. But I'm always looking for special qualities, you know, unique things that they're able to do with their vision, with their body control, with their toughness and their burst and their speed. Some guys are just different than others, you know, and he is not a guy that's going to just run into the wall. He's going to find his way for the most space available with this marvelous creativity, you know, that terrific running backs have always shown to me. And so now I was thrilled to be part of this one and all the way through it, you know, and it was fun to go back and watch this film again. I'll just give you a little quick one. To figure out Reggie Bush back in the day, Reggie scored so many touchdowns from so far out on the film that the film would run and he'd be the only guy on the field. You know, you couldn't see anybody. I couldn't tell, well, how good is he? He's too easy. You know, he's scoring from so far out. And but I watched the same film about 50 times, and I try and figure, I think he's got like everything you could want in a running back, you know. So it's just gone back a long ways, and it's looking for the unique, special qualities that guys have that makes them, you know, those wonderful players.
Nick Walters, Channel 13. Pete, obviously it's no secret that the Raiders have had their quarterback struggles over the years, but at the Combine you were talking about how a running game can be a quarterback's best friend. So from your experience with Geno Smith in Seattle, how can Ashton Jeanty help Geno Smith.
Yeah, that's not really a novel thought in the coaching circles over the the numbers of years, but this is precisely and it won't be just Ashton. It'll be the running back group that'll contribute to make this happen, because it takes a good 3 guys usually in the rotations to make that happen. And but it's the consistency of the emphasis that you place on the defense, that they have to continue to try and stop the running game, and that allows all of the opportunities for Chip to do his magic, and that's the play action games. It's all of the stuff that comes off of the run game, and all of that is not that doesn't draw any focus on the quarterback. None of those things you're thinking about the QB when you're worrying about the running game and you got to get it stopped and you're not sure where it's coming from, and that's how you complement the quarterback's position and make it such that we're trying to make it easier on the quarterback, because his job is the hardest in professional sports. So this is the key way to get that done.
Pete, Paul Gutierrez from Raiders.com. Ashton on the call earlier said that what he thought might have sealed the deal was that he beat you in a shooting contest on his visit.
Well, that's not exactly how it happened.
Maybe you?
No, yeah. There'll be no rematch. Yeah, we had there was a little competition thing that the guys had, amongst the guys that were visiting. I didn't really enter into the competition. I thought that might be, unfair for them. So, but yeah, he did. He came through pretty well. It was good. It was exciting to see.
Yeah, John, wondering what was the reaction at home? Did you give Jack a heads up, or what was his?
Oh boy.
No, I did not give Jack a heads up, and he was very excited. So I'm happy that I still have both my sons in my house and expected to move to Vegas this summer. But he's, for all the reasons I'd said before, fantasy football points and getting a jersey and all that, he's pretty excited. I would like to say that has nothing to do with why we picked him, just so we know. I was willing to risk it if that's what it took, to get the best player, but it all aligned.
We'll wrap up with Tashawn, Kevin, and then Carter.
Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. I know it's obviously a lot of work still to be done this offseason, but between Genty and Geno and some of the guys you already had, like Jacoby and Brock Bowers, do you feel like you've started to, kind of establish an identity on offense, kind of at this point in the offseason?
I do. I mean, Brock obviously had a fantastic rookie season, and Jacoby's is a great slot player for us, and had his best season in the NFL last year too. And now we add another dynamic weapon to it with Ashton. We like our offensive line and how it's coming together. So, and then obviously putting a quarterback back there that can lead and rally the guys and play tough and make good decisions and then throw the ball really to all levels of the field. I feel like I think Coach does too and Chip does too. We've gotten harder to defend, but we still have 2 more days of the draft and undrafted free agency, and there's always players that pop later too. So our work is not even close to being done, but I think we're off to a good start, and tonight certainly was a big boost to that.
I think too that we're trying to set this up so that our staff and Chip and the coaches that are on the offensive side have the opportunities to create all of the things that they know are capable to be created. And I'm fired up for Chip. I know he knows it. He could see in the mini camp we just had that we've got some stuff that we can work with, and so we're looking forward to it.
As excited as you are with what happened today, what's the excitement and buzz and feeling as you head into tomorrow, knowing what's on the board right now?
Johnny's just getting warmed up. He's getting warmed up.
Yeah.
All kinds of exciting things.
Yeah, big day tomorrow. The board came off a little too clean tonight. I mean, we'd like to have seen other teams reach a little bit more, but we'll go regroup tonight and have a good plan for tomorrow. And there's still a lot of good players out there.
Yeah, Carter. And John, just when you look at the entirety of this first round tonight, were there any surprises for you? What interested you the most about the way the board fell? And just kind of like he was saying, what are you anticipating for tomorrow night as well?
Nothing much surprises me in the draft anymore. It's wildly unpredictable, and I think we all do this a long time. You never know when quarterbacks are going to go or running backs, and you just try to prepare for every scenario. And so, I don't think anything really surprised me tonight. And when I look at our board, I see a lot of good players that are going to be available at 37 tomorrow, and maybe an opportunity to move down and get a few more picks to get more of those players. So we'll have a good plan in place by 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock tomorrow, right? I'm still adjusting to Pacific time. I'm used to this being at like 1 a.m., so this is actually pretty nice.
Great, thank you, John.
Thanks, guys. See you all tomorrow.